progress, even though so much has been achieved in the last 8 years when compared with most states of the federal infrastructure, strength, capacity, and competence. In his sermon captioned "Fear Not," Bishop of the Diocese of Niger Delta, retired Reverend Emmanuel Okojaja, said the spirit of fear needs to be overcome by firm trust in God and urged the judicial officers to uphold the truth fearlessly in discharge of their duties, while launching the book titled History of River State Judiciary, a compendium of personalities on the bench. Governor Fubara supported the effort with the sum of 50 million naira as he assured that his administration would not relent in improving the welfare of judicial officers, and commended the Chief Justice of River State for his leadership and resourcefulness. Speaking earlier, the Chief Judge of River State, Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi, applauded the governor for his quality leadership and efforts in to present the judicial scorecard of the previous year. River State House of Assembly lawmakers, in their determination to continue to effectively and efficiently perform the tripod function of lawmaking, oversight, embarked on a two-day refresher workshop on legislative operations at the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Abuja. The two-day refresher workshop was declared open by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, retired Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, on Wednesday. Is aimed at sharpening the legislative skills of the honorable members and management staff of River State House of Assembly. Delivering his keynote address, Right Honorable Abbas, who was represented by the Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, Professor Julius Ihombere, urged participants to take their legislative business seriously, as their constituent and state expect much from them, and also reminded the legislators that the legislature, being the nucleus of any democratic government, cannot afford to be docile, and commended the Assembly for embarking on the refresher workshop. Making a special remark House of Assembly, Right Honorable Martin Shikia Mehule thanked Right Honorable Abbas for his commitment to legislative excellence and accepting to speak to the participants to motivate them in their work, stressing that of the 31 members of the River State House of Assembly, 27 members were in attendance. Director General of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, commended the River State House of Assembly for being the first state assembly to hold a workshop at the Institute, and pledged the collaboration of the Institute for greater performance of the River State House of Assembly. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has responded to claims by the All Progressives Congress that it will take the state from him in the next election following the defection of Senator Ifeanyi Uba to the APC, that the party has been showing confidence about winning the state in 2025 governorship election. The state chairman of the party, Mr. Basil Ejidike, stated that the ruling All Progressives Grand Alliance would die a natural death when APC takes the state in 2025. While reacting to the claim, Soludo, in a press release signed by his press secretary, Mr. Christian Aburime, said no other party, not even APC, which he claims does not exist in the state, will be able to move the All Progressives Grand Alliance. The release also said the APC doesn't exist in Anambra State. Anambra State is APGA land and will forever remain APGA land because the people have come to accept the All Progressives Grand Alliance as their own political movement, and there is absolutely nothing the APC or other positioned parties can do about it. Some students of Bayero University, Kano, on Wednesday night took to the streets within the university to celebrate the decision of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress to suspend the nationwide strike. This is coming after the university management on Tuesday suspended the ongoing 2022-23 first semester examinations and all other academic activities till further notice. The suspension of the examinations followed the nationwide strike embarked upon by NLC and TUC, and the subsequent decision by the university unions to join the strike. National Executive Councils of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress on Wednesday night suspended their nationwide strike over an alleged assault on the president of the NLC, Joe Ajero. The union said the suspension followed the intervention of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, while the organized private sector and the maritime operators accused the NLC and TUC over the industrial action that it was ill-timed and misconceived. The National Deputy President of the TUC, Tommy Etim, explained that the strike was suspended based on the trust the unions had in the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, who gave his word, adding that he wasn't playing politics with their demands and was ready and promised to follow up with everything. Nuhu Ribadu also apologized to the organized labor over the attack on the NLC president, and the labor movement gave the federal government an ultimatum to arrest the perpetrators among other demands to avoid a strike, and this is coming after the federal government secured a restraining court order against the unions at the National Industrial Court, but the leadership mobilized the workers for the strike, which commenced on Tuesday. Former military head of state Abdusalami Abubakar has stated with his dissatisfaction with the 13,000 naira minimum wage and describing it as unacceptable in the current reality in Nigeria. Abdusalami called on President Bola Tinubu to consider increasing the minimum wage, stressing that 30,000 naira cannot lead to meaningful human development anywhere in the world. The former head of state spoke in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, when he delivered a speech at a Made in Peace, Unity and Reconciliation Summit organized by Taraba Independence Peace Committee. Represented by Reverend Father Atta Bakindo, the head of Secretariat of Kuka Central and National Peace Committee, urged Nigerians to utilize the resources within their areas to improve their standard of living. Former Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, will today be put on trial by the federal government on alleged economic sabotage-related offences. Emefiele, whose trial was aborted about 24 hours ago, will be arraigned at the High Court in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. A notice for his trial before Justice Hamza Muazu indicates that the ex-CBN governor will be docked along with one Ramalan Yaro. A registrar with the court confirmed that Emefiele will be brought before the court this morning for his plea of guilty or not guilty to be taken. Similarly, one of the lawyers in his defense team, Maxwell Opara, confirmed that the notice of arraignment had been served on the former CBN governor for him to appear in court. The former CBN governor will be produced in court by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Matthew Borka, who signed an undertaking to bring him for trial while being granted bail in justice by Justice Olukayode Adegbola Adeniyi, also of the FCT High Court. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of our stories. Senate has passed for first reading a bill seeking the establishment of a federal data bank. The bill was sponsored by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, representing APC in Ondo South. The senator explained that the purpose was to establish a federal data bank that would cover every sector of the economy and provide data for development for both the public and private sectors, stressing that data is critical to economic planning and development, making the need for data bank very important in any vibrant economy for in-depth insight into customer behavior, the state of internal processes and external risk, which will give room for variety, volume, velocity, and value. He added that all levels of government can also benefit from the federal to local government level with access to information, adding that when established, the federal data bank can be self-sustainable since it can receive data and sell data, while the international community and institutions like the World Bank and IMF will give support for the takeoff of the bank. The bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences Act 2018 and establish the Federal University of Mining and Geosciences, JOS, and for related matters, scaled second reading. The bill, as sponsored by Senator Dickett Plank, representing Plateau Central, passed second reading at the floor of the Senate on Wednesday. While presenting the bill, Plank explained that the bill will help in positioning Nigeria's mining sector and further deepen research for mining.
On an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences Act 2019 and establish a Federal University of Mining and Geosciences, JOS, and for other related matters. That is required at the moment is to upgrade the institute to a degree awarding institution. My highly respected colleagues, the proposed bill will also support efforts aimed at positioning Nigeria's mining sector as a viable sector for diversifying the country's economy away from the excessive dependence on income from crude oil exports.
In support of the bill, some of the lawmakers made their contributions, and Senator Ahmed Lawan stated how critical the bill is for the development of the country.
This is one bill that is very critical for the development of our country. While it is true that Nigeria benefits from its oil and gas endowments, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria does not reasonably benefit from its solid minerals subsector. The fact that we have an institution that we now feel should be transformed into a university is to say that we need to have those with expertise and skills that will help develop this subsector.
The bill was therefore referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund to report back to the Senate in 4 weeks. House of Representatives Committee on Steel Development rejected the poor accounts submitted by the Ministry of Steel and agencies under its purview. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Zainab Gimba, during the 2023 budget appraisal meeting with the Ministry of Steel Development and related agencies in Abuja, said that the agencies were also not forthcoming in presenting their submissions. Honorable Gimba said findings from documents submitted by the ministry and agencies show clearly that there are basic and vital omissions of a common factor of failure to obtain valid bank statements from the Central Bank of Nigeria to produce standard bank reconciliation statements.
This very crucial music today results as a result of this submission of requested documents from the ministry and some agencies who are not able to meet up with the deadlines. Flowing from this development, I think, considering the enormity of the job ahead of us, as we get ready for the presentation of the 2024 budget presentation, henceforth, we are not going to condone any delay in submission of required documents or appearing before the committees. Findings from documents submitted by the ministry and agencies shows clearly that there is basic and vital omission of common factor of failure to obtain valid bank statement from the CBN, and this will not account to be a good credibility to either the ministry or the agencies. That this has come up with a question of credibility, because efficient accounting system and effective internal control system are comforts that ensures compliance of laws, rules, regulations, and standards that support discharge of quality oversight functions. We shall maintain uncompromising guidance towards achieving results. This is the essence of oversight in parliamentary representation.
She noted that steel development was a more reliable and sustainable driver of economic growth in Nigeria than petroleum, considering the potential of steel to turn around the nation's economy and to attract the much-needed foreign exchange for the country. And now to some business reports. Vice President Kashim Shettima says education and skill development are the answers to Nigeria's hunger and poverty. He disclosed this statement at a meeting with a group from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation at the presidential villa in Abuja, and he And the trip was led by Mr. Roger Voorhees, president of the Foundation's Global Growth and Opportunity Division. Vice President Shatima explained how climate change affects agricultural productivity and how vital it is to implement climate-smart farming practices in order to guarantee food security for Nigeria's expanding populace, and pleaded with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to establish a strategic alliance with the Nigerian government in order to boost the country's agricultural output, enhance nutrition, and fortify the educational system. He tasked the foundation with assisting President Bola Tinubu's activities pertaining to gender empowerment and the importance of girl-child-focused programming to Nigeria's efforts to reduce poverty, especially in the fields of primary health care, delivery, and the eradication of polio. You are watching the News on Atlantic Television Network. Joe Biden says he is mildly hopeful about the chances of freeing more than 200 people being held hostage in Gaza. This is coming after Israel began striking Gaza after Hamas, in which 1,200 people were killed and the hostages were taken. The Israeli military has published a video not independently verified, which it says shows mass weapons and equipment found in Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital, while Israel's army mounted an operation at Gaza's main hospital in what it described as a targeted operation against Hamas. Hamas says the raid on the hospital was a war crime where hundreds of civilians have been sheltering there. Alongside patients and staff, the United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution calling for extended humanitarian pauses in Gaza and the release of hostages, while Hamas-run health ministry says more than 11,000 people have been killed in Gaza, and so more than 4,500 were children. President Joe Biden says the United States and China have agreed to resume military communications in an effort to ease rising tensions. Following a rare meeting with China's President Xi Jinping in California, it was the first time the pair had spoken in person in more than a year, while President Biden also said both leaders had agreed to establish a direct line of communication with one another. At a news conference following the summit, which took place at State near San Francisco, Biden said lack of communications was how accidents happen, and added that both presidents could now pick up the phone and be directly heard immediately. This is coming after China severed military-to-military communications last year after then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, and Beijing views self-ruled Taiwan as its territory and has threatened to annex it by force if necessary. New Foreign Secretary David Cameron has made his first working visit to Ukraine for a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv. Mr. Cameron restated the UK's support for Ukraine, promising it will be there for however long it takes, and also promised to continue Britain's moral support, the diplomatic as well as the economic sectors and military support. Mr. Zelensky thanked Mr. Cameron for the UK's continued backing and his new appointment in his first visit in his new position. And now to entertainment. Veteran Nigerian record producer and singer Samuel Ogwachuba, popularly known as Sam Clef, says he does not believe the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church was his claim of suspending winter temporarily in Colorado, United States of America. Pastor Adeboye, while addressing his congregation in a viral video, claimed that he once suspended winter during his visit to Colorado because he doesn't like the cold. And now to sports. Bruno Oyemichi has been declared fit to play against Lesotho in a 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixture on Thursday. Oyemichi was a doubt for the encounter after he was substituted in the second half of Boavista's 3-1 home defeat to CD's Friends last weekend. While the defender trained separately from his Super Eagles teammates during their first training on Tuesday, Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro has expressed his love for some key players for the World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Talismanic Samuel Chukwueze and Zaidu Sanusi were excluded from the squad for the qualifiers due to fitness concerns. Peseiro stated that he has enough quality at his disposal to cope with their absence, and the Super Eagles will host the Leukena of Lesotho at the Gospel Apabio International Stadium, Uyo, today, Thursday. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Valentina Lawrence. You can follow us on all our social media platforms: on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram, Atlantic TV Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress.